What's up, everybody? We've got Chuckster, the man, the myth, the legend, the slam dancing king, back on the show. I say this every time, like you're my one of a few guests that I've got to get on here at least once a year. We got to find something to talk about, and we got a few things to talk about today. So first off, welcome back. How's it going?
Thank you. Things are going great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I can't wait to pick your brain on kind of, I guess, hobby-related stuff, wrestling-wise, that's gone over the past couple of years. But that's not the main event. We're kicking things off. You know, sometimes you go to those wrestling shows and they do the main event like super early. That's what we're doing right now. We're going to talk about this interesting AEW set, which, again, you or Paul, like if I've got you guys on, you're like the audience watching this pretty much knows, oh, they're going to talk about some obscure set that nobody knows about. We're here to educate. That's why we want to talk about this. Plus, it's maybe a hot button topic, and we can talk about this later. But, you know, if AEW is not going to if Upper Deck's not going to put out AEW products, somebody's got to, right? So I'll just turn it over to you, and I'll kind of jump in and ask questions as we kind of go over this set.
Okay. Well, as you know, I'm very fond of those really quirky, offbeat, custom-made sets. And, you know, I'm a big fan of AEW. And I had to have my AEW fixed because it's taken some time to get the next AEW.
Some time is an understatement.
Exactly. A couple of months ago, I was on Twitter. I guess it's X now, but at the time it was still Twitter.
Yeah, whatever.
And one of our main contributors on Twitter for wrestling cards, I'm sure you know, Matt Delacus.
Mm-hmm.
He posted about this set and just made some little mention about it and showed a couple cards from it. And I contacted him and said, Matt, where'd you find this? And he gave me the name of this guy on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram. So Matt sent me his email contact, and I contacted the guy and I said, hey, how can I get one of these? And what's the scoop on this? And it turns out this guy had created a custom set of AEW cards based on the old Garbage Pail Kid cards. He made the wrestlers look like the little Garbage Pail Kids. He did an amazing job with these. I contacted him. I sent him a payment. I had the set in my hand within a week, 10 days. A guy out of Canada. His name is, let me see what it is here, Terry Gordon. He goes on Instagram as, what was the name of that thing? I can't remember.
That's okay. I'm sure we can. I'll try to do some work, and we'll see if we can put the links to his account and everything in the show notes here.
Mad Mod Poet God.
Okay.
Mad Mod Poet God on Instagram. Obviously, I'm not on Instagram, but I got a hold of him, and he sent out this amazing set, and the attention to detail on these things are amazing. I'm going to kind of it's only a small 10-card set, and here's what we've got. I'll just kind of give you a little preview of these things.
That's GPK if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I mean, he really made a GPK. He stayed true to the GPK cards.
Those look great.
And here's the last one of the bunch. Card number 10 had a checklist on the back of it.
Okay.
The other cards, which I love, this is kind of one of my things. They do this occasionally in wrestling card sets, but it's been a while since I've seen this. They actually made the back a puzzle.
Oh, yeah. Hangman.
Hangman Adam Page. One of the cards in the set is Adam Page. It's the exact same card as here. They just made it onto the back. And what's really neat about these cards, I won't go through all 10 of them, but this guy evidently follows it closely, because not only did he pay attention to the Garbage Pail Kid layout, he also knows his wrestlers, because he made little captions at the bottom of the card that kind of gave part of the image of that particular wrestler. My favorite one is Adam Cole. And you see the little mushroom cloud coming out of his head.
He's got that off of Adam. Yeah.
Little boom thing going on it. And the caption on it says, blowing up before the match starts, which when he goes boom, blow up.
That's also a play off the famous Adam Bomb Garbage Pail Kids card. Yep.
Is it really?
It's one of the most iconic Garbage Pail Kids cards. So pairing that all together is a great combination.
And And the next one he called that combustible coal. He didn't call it Adam Cole. He called
Right.
it
Of course. Right.
He didn't use any actual names, I guess, probably copyright issues or whatever.
Sure.
Danhausen became Dribbling Dan. and his caption is flinging curses everywhere.
Fitting.
So these are amazing. And of course, everybody's favorite and has been my favorite for about 2 years, MJF.
Everybody loves the guy. Yep.
Furious Friedman. And his states, kiss the ring or else, because he always has that dynamite diamond ring that right. So these are just amazing cards. And he's put them all together in a pack. He put them in a little hang pack.
Okay.
Okay. And on the pack, it says random sketch and hologram cards. Well, when I ordered mine from him, he told me I would get a random sketch card in mine, but I didn't get a sketch card, but I got a hologram card and a sticker card, which isn't even listed on here. My hologram, and he did a really good job with the hologram. The holograms are also stickers, but
that looks MJF. Cool.
And then the sticker card is, this was Rampage Rex, which is Luchasaurus,
mm-hmm.
and it is 4 corners of Dino Terror. I love his captions; they're just fantastic. They're blank on the back. There are actual sketch cards. I have seen some online. I wasn't lucky enough to get one of those, but they're the exact same characters, but he did a little bit different with the background on them. It's the same image, just they're posed a little differently. And it was just a fun set. And because I'm such a big AEW fan, I had to have these and put these in my set. And I know when I reached out to you and told you about them, you said, "Oh, we gotta do something with these."
Yeah, I had seen them, but I hadn't actually talked to anybody who had them. So when I knew you had them in hand, I was like, let's just go ahead and do a quick video on it.
Exactly. The only other I didn't realize, you said that there was an atom bomb in the Garbage Pail Kids. I didn't realize Kids did wrestling cards, but I only know.
Well, no, it's not the wrestler. See, it's a character. It's a character they made, and it's called Atom Bomb, and his head is exploding just like Adam Cole. So I thought it's cool that they used the Adam Cole as the Atom Bomb figure, even though they can't use that kind of likeness and whatnot.
And but some of the things, like for instance, Rampage Rex, he's 4 corners of Dino Terror. Blundering Black, he says, "Keep the lights off so you can't see me." Unusual Uno, which I guess is Evil Uno. Mm-hmm. Tenacious Tentacles of Terror, and he's got tentacles coming out of his head.
That's interesting.
Hangman Adam Page, he did a little program a while back when he was joining the Dark Order, and he was like drunk all the time and pulling off like alcoholic. Well, he became Alcoholic Adam. And
the horse that he's on is amazing. You used to see those at the playgrounds all the time.
and it says, "Has he made it to the ring yet?" The only one that I don't think looks anything like the character, but it's still cute anyway. Bossy Baker, which was supposed to be Britt Baker, and she's sitting on Tony Schiavone. And
I see what you mean. I think it's still cool as being part of the set, but yeah, I see what you mean.
She says accompanied by Talking Tony, and then we had the MJF and the Adam Cole. Then we had Eddie Kingston down here in the middle. We got Eddie Kingston, and he is the Mad King of Trashy Turf, the Mad King of the Trashy Turf. And then the final one was the Young Bucks.
That's cool, the way that they made that with their signature pose like that.
Yeah, blended bucks.
Mm-hmm.
2 heads are better than one. So, and that's the one that has the checklist on the back of it. So those are just really cool. And what I did after I got these, I did a little research and tried to find out if there had actually been any other Garbage Pail Kid type wrestling cards. And in my years of collecting, I vaguely remembered a set in the back of my mind back when I was doing a lot of the Tops Now stuff. They released a 10-card sticker set back around 2019, 2020, somewhere in that area, 2018. I didn't buy it at the time because when I saw it was stickers, I didn't buy it because I wanted cards.
Mm-hmm.
I now wished I had. And at the time, after I realized I wanted them, I started picking them up on eBay one at a time. I got 3 of the 10. And then the pandemic hit and cards went through the roof. They went boom.
Yep.
So I only got the 3, and then I could never afford. They became out of my price range. I couldn't afford anymore after that. So there is a 10-card set made by Topps that's authorized. And then being a checklist, the archivist for Tony on WTC, I was doing some updates to the site the other day, and I was looking around. There was actually some, I've never seen one in person, but evidently there was some put out with the 2021 Transcendence set. I wasn't aware.
I believe I think they're one of ones and they're oversized.
Oh, okay. Are they? Okay. I wasn't. I saw that on one of them, and I thought, wow. So there was some more GPK wrestling sets, but
and then there's also, like, if you start digging in the actual GPK sets, there's some wrestling cards in there. Like, there's a couple different Hogans, and I know I've seen some others, and they're not called Hogan. It's, obviously called something else, but he's doing the shirt rip and he's like ripping his skin open so you can see his rib cage and stuff. It's a really cool card.
Neat. I was never big into the Garbage Pail Kids. I knew of them and I was aware of them, and I kind of, they were under my peripheral vision, but but once I saw these, I thought, well, this has got to be like the highlight of my. From what I understand, there's 200 sets of these.
That was going to be one of my questions. So,
and the guy was he's a really cool guy to talk with. I got in a good chat with him through email. A really decent guy. He made 200 sets. He was so pleased with the amount of people reaching out to him for these. He's decided to do a second set.
Awesome.
So there's going to be a series coming out. I don't know when, but I'm sure it's.
Hey, it doesn't matter when it is. It's going to be out before Upper Deck puts something out. We know that.
That's for sure. Yeah. So that's kind of my little spiel on these. I just wanted to bring them to everybody's attention because I just thought they were a neat, quirky little set. And I know you like those little offbeat sets too.
Yep.
No,
especially when we have information like this, like the fact that he put, there's this many sets out. Here's the chase cards. This is what we're doing. And speaking of that, how much was the set to just buy the whole pack at once?
$14.
You can't even buy Blaster for that.
Oh, and you're getting at least 2 extra cards in with it. I wished I could. I might end up. I don't know. Maybe I'll end up ordering another set just to see if I can get a sketch card.
That'd be another cool set too to get all signed. I think that would look cool.
But like I said, I love the hologram. He did a really good job with that hologram. And and then of course, like I said, they're both blank on the back, and I got the sticker. But if you search around Twitter a lot, you'll see some people have posted some of the the sketch cards on there. I think Nick from Crazy Card Collector, I think he had a couple.
Yeah, I think I saw his flip through on those.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they're just a really cool thing, and I love the puzzle aspect on the back of the cards. I haven't seen for a while.
Yeah, that's something that like every set and every kind of release used to do with the old Top stuff, whether it was a sport or non-sport. And yeah, you just don't see it much anymore.
No. And so that was a nice touch too. But that's really all I've got on it. I just wanted to share it and kind of show it off a little bit.
Well, hey, let's just keep this conversation going and talk some more hobby stuff. We're making fun of Upper Deck here. What do you make of all this? Because as you know, and I know, you are one yourself. I am very selective on anything I want from AEW Upper Deck for my PC. But the fact is, the AEW fans are rabid. They like to collect things. And when they don't have the product, it's hard to create the demand. So what do you make about all this Upper Deck release nonsense with AEW?
I don't understand it, because when they first came out a couple years ago, there was so much hype around their original release. I bought into it. I bought into it to the eight boxes worth.
Yep.
some box I paid over $200 for. And now you can get them for $70, $60, $70 a box.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a hot item. And I went after parallels. I went after inserts. I mean, I just did the whole spiel on that. And I thought, wow, this is so cool, but I better kind of cool off a little bit because they're supposed to be coming out with a second release. And last year at the National, we did our panel for wrestling cards, and Tony and Paul kind of delegated me to talk on the Upper Deck releases. And I was so excited and talked about how their second set was in progress as we were speaking. Well, it took months for that second set ever come out. And I don't think I have ever seen anybody talk about even putting together a set except
you.
Boom. And I got them for such a cheap value. I guess people just got tired of waiting on them and moved on to other things. And of course, that was during the big Panini push too. And everybody was chasing the bigger cards.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on ComC, and I was picking up singles for that Spectrum set for less than $1 a piece.
Yep.
I mean, and it's a beautiful set. I have no complaints about the Spectrum set. I love it. I think it's gorgeous. But now, where's those medals?
Oh yeah, that's the one product. When I heard it was released, I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to open the bank for that one.
But do I really want to now? I mean, they're just. I don't know what the holdup is when Panini is putting out 7, 8 sets at a time. Boom, but you don't even get one set out till you're having an announcement for the next one, and then it actually hits.
Yeah.
What's the holdup? Nobody has really talked on it. I'm not downing Upper Deck because Upper Deck has beautiful, beautiful cards. They really do. I just don't understand the holdup in getting this out. Is by the time these cards come out, probably half of the people that's on the roster are either no longer with it, or they've changed their, or they've moved on to other things, or
people are just like, it's an out of sight, out of mind thing, kind of like what you had mentioned, because oh well, I can't buy my Upper Deck, my favorite AEW wrestlers. I'm going to go buy the figures. I'm going to go buy the Panini WWE products. I'm going to go buy stuff like this GBK set that we're talking about, because my, the cards that I want for my AEW stars, they're just not available.
Right. And the show itself is still doing great. I mean, they just added a third show.
Right.
Yeah.
Got the huge Wembley show.
Oh, that I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list. I got to see that one.
Yeah, I'm just tired of the excuses. Like, there's been numerous platforms that have had some people from Upper Deck on, and it's just like excuse after excuse. And for a while, I think that was acceptable because of, backlogs of pandemic, like the residual effects of that. But I mean, come on, we're at this point where Upper Deck's putting out plenty of cards for all these other sports and non-sport even. And then they just, like, I can't remember if it's an actual Upper Deck product, but I think it is actually the TCG, the trading card game that's coming out. So they can put that out, but they can't put out regular cards. You didn't want to down Upper Deck, but I guess I will. Like, I'm just kind of tired of the excuses.
Yeah, I am. I mean, like I said, I know they do a good product when they make the product, but just come on, guys. You got collectors out here wanting to give you their money,
right?
And it just doesn't make sense to me how one company can pump out product after product after product, and this company here just keeps announcing and delaying. What's the delay, guys? Make some kind of a public statement. We apologize for this. Here's the reasons why we've delayed. Give us something.
Right.
Or give us a break on the next set when it comes out.
Well, and they did the cool stuff like at the National this year, having Sky Blue doing the free card I think it was an oversized card, but free card autographs and pictures. Like, that's great. That's fantastic. And I believe that it said first card on it. So that's something that could have some longevity for certain collectors out there. So, I mean, they have cool ideas, they have good products, but what is the deal? Like, is this something where, I don't know when the license ends, but does AEW get fed up with us and say, we're going to move on to this other card company because we know they can get stuff out in time? I don't know. We'll see.
And they're not even promoting the cards on TV anymore. they used to do little blurbs down in the corner and talk about them. And, you would see videos of them backstage, different wrestlers signing their cards, and you don't see any of that anymore. And it's just a sad thing for us AEW fans, and I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're more popular than ever. From what I understand, they've already got 75,000 tickets already sold for Wembley.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's huge. That's huge for over there. And for a show that's only got one match announced, and that was announced last night. It's that's going to be MJF and Adam Cole for the title.
Yep.
And that's event. That's the only match they've sold 70,000 tickets, and only one match is announced. That's unbelievable. Somebody's got to pick up on that and run with it. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's move from one kind of negative. Sick of talking about Upper Deck and their jabroni shenanigans. Let's talk about the National this year. Neither one of us were able to get it, but I was observing from the sidelines. And you went to last year's, which was kind of the first. I don't want to say big presence, but it was the first presence of wrestling cards. This year took it to a whole nother level with a bunch of great, unbelievable stuff going on behind the scenes. I mean, would you imagine that when you start collecting wrestling cards, or even like 5 years ago when you're still collecting, would you imagine that a major card company would be sponsoring a wrestling card event at the National?
That just blew my mind when I heard that was going to take place.
Yeah. So what was your kind of takeaways from what you could see from the sidelines?
Well, I watched the panel live. I had a link to it, so I was able to watch it live. And I think all 7 of the guys that was on there just did an amazing, outstanding job. Congratulations to everybody that did that. And for them to actually be able to put on a somewhat of a trade night, the main event, where they wasn't expecting to make even 100 people, and they ended up filling the room with at least 150.
Yeah.
And scheduled one for next year, which I think any problems notwithstanding, I should be able to make next year's. And I think it's just gonna. Just that little thing we did last year blew up into this in a year. Who would have thought that? The wrestling card scene, in my opinion, is alive and well.
It's bigger than it's ever been, and just keeps growing every day.
It's not going anywhere soon, other than just grow and grow and grow. There was a time when I was almost ashamed to tell people I collected wrestling cards because they just made fun of you. Now it's like, oh my God, do you have this? Do you have that? And people swing by my house or whatever, and I'll show them my collection, and it's like, oh my God, I had no idea, And behind me, I got over 100 binders full of sets, for probably over 500 sets behind me here, and it has just grown and grown and grown. And the thing for me is, I'm happy the hobby has grown, but it also had its downfall for me.
All right, so let's just go ahead and talk about that then.
We wanted the hobby to grow. We got it. We got big numbers. We got respect in the community now. The people who are collecting cards has grown in leaps and bounds, and it's just amazing looking at Twitter and watching all of these people show all this great stuff they're having. And that to me is what we wanted and what we needed. But where it has taken a rough turn for me is we've got the respect, but now cards have become so it's become people getting cards, having them graded, and making money. I don't see anybody just collecting the cards for the sake of collecting them anymore. They want to get the big cards, get them graded, make some money. And that's all well and good. That's always been,
Sure.
Throughout history. But I never see anybody just talking about, oh, I need this card to complete my base set. I need this or that. It's all about just getting the big cards, getting them graded, get the money, and moving on. And that made it tougher for me to get anything, because these Panini sets, I've only got maybe 2 of them that I completed, and I bought them card at a time. And that's just no way. That to me took the fun away from me. I mean, I'm not complaining that the cards are out there, and I'm not complaining that the hobby has grown, but it has just made it harder for this old school collector to do what he used to do. And I have to find new ways to keep current and stay on top of things. If it wasn't for Paul and Tony, I probably wouldn't have most of the panini that I've got now, because we help each other out a lot. And Paul has been especially gracious in helping me get a lot of the panini stuff. I just don't. We have a little bond now. We have a group in Twitter called the Brotherhood. I don't know if you're from.
I'm familiar. Yep.
I'm a member of the Brotherhood. Brotherhood is a very exclusive group of guys on Twitter who have a little private group chat. They stay on top of all the indie releases, which is what I'm a big fan of now. I can't do the bigger stuff anymore. And these guys, they can see us. They'll let us know when they see a set coming out, how to get a hold of it. They tell us when indie shows are going on. It's just that these guys are just a great group of guys, and I'm just really looking forward to meeting a lot of them next year when I go to Dayton. Hopefully, a lot of them will be there. We're also talking about doing Paul was talking the other day on his recap show from the National that they're talking about wanting to do one of these Zoom shows with all members of the Brotherhood, if we can get them all on there, which I think would be a good show too. But the indie scene has grown. The indie card collecting has grown along. But my problem with that too now is that so many people are putting indie card sets out, and they're just pushing them out and not taking the time to do them right.
I don't think they have the collectors in mind when they're putting them out. They're just putting them out to put them out.
Because some of them I've got where I've looked forward to having a really nice set. Granted, the wrestlers on them are pretty cool to have, but they're kind of flimsy cards, or there's misspelled words, or they're off-centered, or they're putting them out and rushing them out because they know everybody wants them. But it's kind of bringing down the want for some of them.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And or at least for me it is. I see some of them, and I used to buy every set that I saw coming out, but they're coming out so fast and furious now. I just pick and choose the ones that I want, and but there's some great stuff come out, and the one set that I like a lot is and I buy just about every release they get is Pro Wrestling Junkie. They do they put out, well, they were putting them out fast and furious for a while. I could hardly keep up with them. And now they've cut back a little, where they're only doing about one a month, but they'll put an autograph and a base card together as a combo and sell it. And they're not making many of them. They're making like 30 of them or so. And then they'll give the rest of sell. And I enjoy purchasing those because there's some really good up and coming stars in them. And there's some people that's already made it big that's been in those sets. And they're a fun, it's a fun set of cards that I enjoy collecting in the indie set. But I'm really pleased that the guys have included me in the Brotherhood set, because I'm such an old school collector, and I just most of my stuff is older stuff, and they're in the new indie stuff. So I really am pleased that they've included me in that group, and they're really helping me learn. I'm learning a lot. I mean, I used to be pretty up on the indie stuff, but now they're just coming out so quick. If it weren't for these guys, I would have no idea what's going on in the indie scene. And
you mentioned something I want to go back on. You had talked about how people are just like buying the cards for the money, or trying to make the money on them and then moving on. And I've actually seen the complete opposite of that. So I'm wondering if it is kind of who the kind of the circles we're running in, and you said you're not on Instagram, and I see a lot of it on Instagram. There are so many super collectors that are zoning in on a Shinsuke Nakamura, on Danhausen, on like the most random names that you would say, oh, they collect them. Like, why would someone collect Karrion Kross of all people, right? So I see more and more of that. I see more people building binders, like not set binders like you or Paul, but like binders like I am building the cross binders, like people putting all their parallels together. When you see it, you're just like, man, I get it now. This is why people are doing it. That being said, with set collecting, I've seen people starting out to build parallel sets or insert sets, and so that's become a thing. There are still, I feel like the graded, slap it, get a gem mint 10, flip it. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I run an eBay store. I do that sometimes. But I think that aspect kind of is more on the wrestling periphery. So it's the people who like, yeah, I like wrestling. I used to watch. I know Hogan. I know Prism. Let's try to make some money on it instead of really latching on to that collecting base. So I like maybe you just maybe you should just post more. Like do what we do. Like pick something, post it, talk about it. That has led me down so many connections with different types of super collectors and different kinds of people. That's actually got me the cards I need. So maybe you should try that. I don't know, or maybe you have and it hasn't worked.
Well, I see a lot of people doing the collecting like you're talking about, zeroing on one person. My concern was nobody putting sets together anymore. Yeah,
and that's other than like small subsets, like I've seen some people really going after Five Timers Club and trying to put together a specific parallel color of the Five Timers Club, stuff like that. That kind of set collecting is live and well, but the other set collecting, it's really hit and miss depending on what it is.
Right, and I don't understand. I mean, I understand it to some extent, because they have a favorite person they want to go after, or they have a set that they want to put together. But I just to go after a full set anymore, nobody really does that, and I don't know why that has changed. Well, I think a lot of it has changed is because of money.
Yeah, that and like collecting habits.
Right.
I think that maybe I'm a prime example of this. Like I think that people can look out and say, oh, let's take the All Stars, right? That is a pretty well known set. But I think there are people out there that say there's people out there that have complete signed sets, complete sets. That anybody can do that. Like you can go out and buy these sets, but not everybody can have Karrion Kross 1-of-1s, Shinsuke Nakamura 1-of-1s, Gable Steveson like whoever it is they collect. Like they want to. I think that mindset of having what others can't have has kind of taken over having complete sets, because I think that a lot of people think that, well, everybody can have those. And then going back to what you said with the money, like they'll look at these complete sets and be like, oh, well, my 87 top set is only selling for like $50. Why would I want to collect a full set of modern? Maybe, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just everybody collects differently, and they will continue to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I have since I just really can't afford, because I'm on a pretty fixed income these days. I can't afford the new Panini stuff. I still look at it and keep an eye on what's going on, and I have to, because of helping Tony with the checklist for the site. I stay on top of it and help him get his checklist together. So I kind of know what's out there. But for me, since I've been such a long-term collector, I'm now taking that money that I probably would have spent on all this new stuff, and I'm going back and filling holes in my sets.
That's
and
great.
I have had a blast doing that. I have things that I never thought I would be close to completing. I'm almost complete. Like my favorite set, and I've said this for many years, has been the 2010 WWE Platinum. That's always been my favorite. And I am now 69 cards away from completing every parallel, including the insert sets.
Nice. Wow.
One of ones. I mean, I'm not obviously going after the 1-of-1s, but I have the base, I have the refractor, I have the X-fractor, I have the blue and the green and the gold parallels of all the base and the 2 insert sets that were really popular. I'm trying to complete all of that, and I'm 69 cards away from doing that.
That's amazing.
And so that has been a blast to find, because now that everybody's going after the newer Prism stuff, the prices on those are starting to fall on that stuff.
On that older stuff, yep. I found the same thing. So
starting to find them, because people wasn't letting go of those for the longest time, and now I found a gold Brothers of Destruction from that set the other day for, oh my gosh, less than $10. Yeah, I mean it was only 50 of them. That was pretty impressive to add to my collection. And
I think that goes back to the out of sight, out of mind thing. There are so many people. I guess you talked about people just wanting to buy cards, grade cards, flip cards, get the money. which again, there's a place for that. I do it. But I think people are so fixated on what's new, what's the latest release, what's the latest box break, that they don't actually take the time to look at older sets of the, you mentioned Brothers of Destruction. So let's say you're an Undertaker super collector, you're a Kane super collector, but they just look at that new stuff. And even though, well, I like shiny. Well, platinum is shiny. Well, I like gold. Well, you just pulled up a gold for under $10. Like, people are just not wanting to put in the time, and it's just like whatever's being fed to them on social media. So.
Yep. And the other thing that I've really been working on is, years ago, Topps did this thing with tribute sets where they would put out a 40 card tribute set, but they would like put 1 through 10 out in one release, and 11 through 20 out in another release, and 21 through 30. And
there's a real chase.
Like 4 sets to get, and there's 13 of those. And well, there's 12 with 40 cards and 1 with 20 cards. And I've been working on those for years. And I had 3 of the 13 sets completed. Since I started this chase on them, since the pandemic's hit, I now have 8 of those sets completed.
Nice.
I mean, well on my way, and just very few left of the others to get. So, the only one that had 20 was a Bret Hart tribute set, and it was released in Canada only, and they only did 20 instead of the 40. But it was, again, 10 cards in one set and 10 cards in the next set. And so I think I need 1 card for that set to complete that, 1 or 2 cards to complete the Bret Hart one. And but all the others, like the Hogans, the Stings, and I'm finding all of these things about them that I had forgotten. Like when Hulk Hogan, when they put out his, they got through the first 30 cards, and then he got into all of his legal issues.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So they pulled the last 10 cards of his and released 31 through 40 as NWO stars. Like you would have X-Pac, or you would have Booker T, or you would have, all the different members of the NWO. I'm sorry, I said NXT. NWO is what I meant. They had members of the NWO as 31 through 40. And so if somebody was just now getting into collecting this stuff, and on the back of the cards, they're numbered 1 of 40, 2 of 40, 3 of 40, and so on. Well, if they got up to 30 of 40 on the Hogans, and they're hunting 41 or 31 through 40 of Hogan's, so they'll never find them.
Right.
And do why? They got to pick up that 31 through 40 of NWO to complete that set. And you're not going to find 1 through 30 of NWO. So you're just going to find the start at 31 through 40. So unless you really knew that backstory, you would think, oh, I'll never be able to complete this Hogan set. But yeah, you can. If you get those NWO cards, you've got the Hogan set, because that's what they put in to complete his set. So little things like that I'm finding out that I think is really, really interesting.
So I guess for this year, since the last time we've talked, because like I said, I like to have you on like once a year at least, just kind of pick your brain on things. What's something we're going to do, a good and a bad? So what is something that you've been pleasantly surprised with within wrestling cards? And that could be, a release, a type of card, community. Like what's something that's been it's piqued your interest. You've been really surprised by it. Whatever it is, I'll let you take it wherever you want.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that one, so I'm going to have to.
That's what we do here.
What has piqued my interest is actually
maybe you said it. Maybe you just said it's going back and filling in the holes, because you don't do so much. I don't know. Like, it could be anything.
It honestly, for me, has been the community. I know it's not really a card issue thing, but the amount of people that I've met in this community that has helped me. I mean, people reach out to me on private messages and, what are you hunting for this, or what are you hunting for that? And just the amount of people that's been helping me this year, because I just, the hobby has grown so much, and I have people reaching out to me, asking me, for advice on this or that, which really surprises me, because really, you want my advice? But anyway, here goes. And it's just been the feeling of community and camaraderie again. I have seen the negativity kind of decline, because there for a while it was pretty bad, and I had actually thought of leaving Twitter just because of that. And I've noticed it has kind of waned, and people are now starting to be more understanding of everybody's ways of collecting.
Well, that and the mute and the block button is a great thing.
Yeah, them healthily lately, but I probably worn mine out. So that has been a really good thing. For me, the bad thing is not being able to afford the new stuff coming out. The way I like to collect, I just can't collect anymore. And to me, that's kind of been a negative, but overall for the hobby, it's a positive. So I'm not complaining about it too much, but that has been my negative, is because me, I love my set collecting. I got to have my sets. Just can't do it anymore. So
well, on that note, and this is not something I've checked because I mainly sell singles in my eBay store. But if you go out and you're looking at, a eBay, a Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, like social media sales, wherever it is that you mainly buy stuff, are these newer sets? So I'm just going to pull, let's just say 2023 Revolution. Okay. So are you finding many of the complete base sets that people can sell them all together, or is it mostly people selling them in singles?
People selling them in singles. Now, the 2022 Revolution, I was able to buy a base set. 2023, I have found a 100-card base set, but there's actually 150 because 101 through 150 is like shorter prints. And if I buy it, I want to get the whole 150. Gotcha. I can find the 100-card sets, but I haven't been able. Everybody else, when I search for them, it'll pop up and say 2023 Revolution, and I'll click on it, and it said, and then they'll list every card. Have the drop down menu with every card, and you have. It's
annoying.
Cards. So to me, that's difficult to get together, and I did that with the original year's Panini. I did it with the original year's Select. When the Select was first out, Paul and I both completed a 400-card base set.
Yeah, you guys are nuts.
Yeah, and that's when I kind of tapped out of Panini after I did that. Paul's still doing it, and I did it with Upper Decks. That second set. What was it called?
Spectrum.
Spectrum. Yeah, I did it with Spectrum, and because when I saw the price of what the boxes were going to be, I thought, well, there's only actually 18 players that I really like. I'm going to just go after those 18 and call it a day, and at least I'll have something like that. But then when I saw how cheaply they were going, I just went after it, and I did the whole 90-card base set, and it's still kind of one of my favorites. I like it actually a little better than their initial outing that they had, but. So it's just, it's just hard for me to collect anymore. But it's all a financial thing, and that's not my. It's nobody's problem but mine.
Well, another thing that's not helping with that is the prices that just continually go up with costs of goods. So, like I sell mainly singles, so I have to be caught. Just this year we've had definitely two, but maybe three. I think just two. Price increases in forever stamps, and that's the way that whether you're using the eBay standard envelope or whether you're just putting a stamp on it, that's the way most people are mailing singles. So the fact that if you're going to make any amount of money that's worth your time, and even then it's questionable, you have to keep raising your prices on singles to where it's getting to where the base price that you might be able to buy a card for, a base card, is like $2. And for some people, if you're going to buy a couple hundred cards to try to build out a set or try to buy some parallels or whatever it is, that's going to add up really quick. So it's not only the cards that are increasing and the demand that's increasing, but the fact that the postal service and, just general inflation of bubble mailers and envelopes and packing material, like all that stuff goes up. It just eats into the cost of how much cards you can actually buy.
And it's hard for me to buy just a single card anymore, because a lot of times if I find a card I like and it's $1, the shipping's like $2.50.
Yeah.
Well, more shipping. So I try to find, if I'm going to buy more than one, I try to find one of those sellers who has the drop down, order as many as I can from them, so the shipping isn't. And I'm not paying $2.50 for shipping for this one, $2.50 for shipping for that. They can kind of increase their price a little bit to sell me a stack of 10 as opposed to one.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you mentioned ComC earlier. That's another good place to do that kind of stuff. Have you had good experiences doing that with ComC?
Yeah, yes, I do. And you can do it. And they actually have what I found. They have a couple different shipping options where you can pay extra to have it expedited to you within like a week. Or if you want to just put a regular order, it takes like up to 30 days to get it. I don't mind waiting 30 days.
Yeah, I do that on my shipments from them.
I know it's coming, so I know I've got it. It's going to be part of the collection. Yeah, I don't like to wait, but I will wait if it's
right.
And I really missed getting to the national this year, because last year it was my first time at a national, and I was just so overwhelmed. And after seeing all the videos from the national this year, I think I would have been out of my league. That crowd was just unbelievable. I mean, last year I could barely get to some of the tables to look at what I wanted to look at because of the crowds.
Right.
But next year I think I'm going not only just for the card aspect of it, but more to just meet everybody.
I think that's kind of what it's turned into. It's turned into like a summer camp, summer vacation for nerdy card collectors, really.
Yeah. And like I said, it was fun being a part of the original. The first time wrestling cards was ever represented, and I was pretty honored to be asked to be on that panel.
Well, and I mean, it's fitting for you to be there on the inaugural, because you're one of the guys that's been into wrestling cards since the ground floor. You know what I mean? There's a lot of us, even though I've been collecting wrestling off and on my whole life, I'd still consider myself like newer to knowing things about it, if that makes sense. But like, you guys working on the checklist and having all the history of this stuff, I found it only fitting that the original panel last year had the best people, and then you just kind of build off that as we continue to grow wrestling cards.
And I'm really glad to see the hobby gaining so many new younger collectors. We got some really, really good guys in the hobby right now. The hobby's not going to die because I said, if I'm suddenly out of the picture, or any of us old school guys are out of the picture, the hobby's in good hands. I mean,
yeah.
And there's so many good guys. I'd name a couple, but I don't want to do that because then I'd kind of offend somebody else. But
I know how that goes.
I want to play politics and say a person's name, and then somebody else get mad. Why did you say my name? But believe me, guys, you guys out there are the best. I mean, I'm comfortable with the hobby growing, with you guys having a presence in the hobby. And I know things are going to change probably again this coming year, but this past year has probably been the biggest change that I have seen in the hobby in a long, long time. And it's been rough, and there's been some bumps, and I've made a few friends, I've lost a few friends over some controversial stuff, and that's sad too, but it is what it is, and I move on. And
yep. Anything else? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be I'm better than you kind of person. I just like having people helping me figure stuff out and not get mad at me because I don't think the way they think.
Right. Yeah. As we're kind of closing out here, we've covered a lot of ground today. Is there anything else we haven't touched on, or any kind of parting words you want to give to the community? Or I'll just the floor is yours for the last few minutes here.
I don't have a whole lot of things to say, except that just guys, just continue doing what you're doing. We got a great community here, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And to give a quote from a friend of mine that I think you might know, wrestling cards rule.
Can't say anything better than that. Let everybody know where they can find you if they're not following you yet, which you guys should be. Shame on you for not.
If the only place I'm really hanging out now is X. Again, just search Chuckster and I'll pop up. You'll see my face there. And
again, I'll try to, as well as the GPK stuff we talked about, I'll try to get your information, his information. I'll try to put all that in the show notes. So make sure to check the show notes when you're done watching this, or pause this video and watch it right now.
Checklist is on WTC already. Also, we don't have images up yet, but the checklist is there if you want to check it out and all kind of release
I'll put
information.
that there too.
Okay. And that's all I've got, guys. It's really good to see you guys again. I haven't been on the air for quite a while, so
and we had talked about that. We had mentioned off air like a week or two ago. I'm like, I haven't seen you floating around very much. Let's get you on. Let's let you voice your opinion. You need a platform.
Yes. Well, I appreciate you giving it to me, and I've enjoyed this. It's been fun talking to you again.
Yep. Thanks for giving us the time today, and thanks for being on the ground floor of wrestling cards. And one of the members. There's a lot of people out there. It's not it's not one person. A lot of good people that have done different things with wrestling cards and built it to where it is today. And I just think a lot of those people need to have light shine on them. So when I don't see you talking about a lot of things, I'm going to give you the platform here to talk about it. So Chuckster, thanks for being a beacon of the hobby, a pillar in wrestling cards. Thanks for giving us the time today, and we'll catch you later.
You're on out there.